2 minutes max. Mr. Agnew.
Well, it was 31 years ago that I attended a conference in the University of East Anglia on the new phenomenon of global warming. And there we were assured by Professor Hook, Dr. Line and Mr. Sinker, or whatever they were called, that in 30 years' time, that would have been last year, we were going to see a totally different climate, warm, wet winters and hot, dry summers. We were going to see a sea level rise of at least 1 metre, that was unavoidable, probably 5 metres and possibly even 10. Well, none of it has happened. I think about my farming career that stems from early 71, and my coldest winter was about 6 years ago, where a third of my sugar beet crop was frozen solid in the ground by global warming. Even last year we had a wet summer, so that's the context we should look at this in. Now, in the Paris Agreement, they did actually say that food security was more important than trying to improve the world's weather. I sort of hang on grimly to that with some hope. But the EU wants to take things further by putting targets on member states. Now, obviously, agriculture is not a net emitter of CO2. We need this gas desperately. Only 400 parts per million in the atmosphere. It's lower than optimum plant requirement. So at least we escape that. However, we're absolutely a firing line for nitrous oxide and methane, which means we can use less fertiliser, fewer legumes and fewer livestock. Now, most member states can take the pain in this with industry, but Ireland and Denmark can't. You are in the firing line, you two just in front of me. Your livestock industry is going to take the pain on this, and so it will go backwards. We'll import the difference, of course. Maybe the 20% of the budget will go to redundancy payments to your farmers. And, of course, this abandoned grassland and these roaring hot summers we're going to get will all catch fire, emitting all this CO2. Food waste has been mentioned. That's a good idea. Unfortunately, with traceability requirements, farmers normally can't make use of it. Meanwhile, we have the gross hypocrisy of maize being grown for anaerobic digesters, which is hugely inefficient. And finally, the elephant in the room, the greenhouse gases never mentioned, water vapour, the biggest of the lot. If you're not going to control that, why bother with any of the others? Thank you, Chairman.